so players do stand off, and it makes it difficult for us to have a competitive game.
It's a difficult question for a goalkeeper. You normally ask an outfield player this question, but who scared you most when you saw them come into the box for a set piece? I'll put it that way. You know, you would ask Speedy, who's the toughest player you played against, who's the hardest player, who's the best player?
He's just gone out actually, and I was going to...
Who did you dread?
There's an experience that both me and Speedy had, and it was a fellow by the name of Billy Whitehurst. Don't know if anybody knows him. Absolute savage, absolute savage. One of his thighs was probably two of mine. We played Hull one night, and they had a little winger called Billy Askew. And all he kept on doing from the North Bank side was just knocking balls up into the penalty area. I'd come, I'd catch them, next thing you know, I'd end up in the back of the net. Absolutely. And John Fashanu was very similar. And Speedy will probably remember as well. Talking about Billy Whitehurst. Yeah, just said he scored a hat-trick with me in the first half. Start of the second half, if I remember correctly. Ball gets played out to the North Bank. He goes up, bang. I think he sparked you out, didn't he, with his elbows? Right at the beginning of the second half. Start of the second half. Honestly, the guy was an absolute savage. And I don't know if you remember what he said to you in the Harry Griffiths bar that evening.
No, I can't.
No, I remember, I think Speedy was still in the days, but he sidled up beside us, and I looked at him and I thought, oh, fuck, here we go. What's he going to say? He leant over and he said to Speedy, he said, those fucking Welsh caps didn't do you much good tonight, did they? And I looked at him and I thought, shit, this is a guy.
How good, Speedy. Who's your question? What, my friend?
When I started at Underwich, I went with a mate from school in the double-decker.
Yeah.
And it always felt like it was one hell of a noise when people would kick it.
Kick in the wood.
Kick in the wood, yeah. How much of an inspiration is that to players on the pitch when you get that noise from the crowd?
I think, personally, because I was sort of pulled back away from that in goal side, but you're always aware that if that kind of noise is coming from the crowd, it's because we're on the offensive, we're attacking, you know, things are going well in the game. So I think that's really the way I always used to see it, is yeah, we're doing well, I'm not under threat, and things are all good. I don't know whether you think any different on that speed?
No.
Crowd, because you're focused on what's going on in front of you, aren't you?
I mean today, you know, as I said, you were saying, I'll be playing in a library.
Yeah.
Because obviously they were on top.
That's right.
And muffled up our supporters. You know.
So if the crowd do pick up in those quiet periods, it does pick you up as players. It really does make a difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely, 100%. Yeah, without any shadow of doubt.
Because virtually every interview we get from, you know, the PR boys down here, they all say, oh yeah, the fans were brilliant. Sometimes they think, oh, we were shit actually. Yeah. But if they were brilliant, it would G you up, and it would.
Absolutely. We all react. We're all fans. We all react according to what goes on the pitch. You know, so if we're playing well, the chances is everybody in the ground is bouncing. I think over the last 2-3 seasons, I've watched games where I probably haven't got out of my seat at times because I've just sat there and I thought, Jesus Christ, that was tough. That really was tough. You know, but I'm guessing, I missed the Leeds game on the other night because I was away, but I'm guessing you were here. That was a bloody good atmosphere that sounded because we were on the offensive, we were making challenges, we were making things happen. And that's only natural. And the more that happens, the more the crowd respond to that. So yeah, absolutely, without any shadow of doubt.
You work with some managers and coaches which are legendary to the group of guys who were here this evening, the Would-Be Swans fans. Who was for you the best guy to work with? Who, you know, affected your game and encouraged you the most?
I'd say all in a different way, because I was a young kid. Speedy was an established player at the club when John Toshak was there. I was an apprentice. I made my debut with him. He brought in a legend from Manchester United called Harry Gregg. Harry came in and worked with us on quite a few occasions. And that, you know, the simple little things that he introduced made me a better player. So there were things like that. John Bond, a lot of people didn't like John Bond. I personally liked him because I liked his training methods, I liked the way he interacted with, not certain people, he destroyed certain individuals, which wasn't right, because he'd been used to working with better players. He couldn't accept some of the players that he was working with. But again, I got good things from him. And then Terry Orth, and I became the regular number 1 under Terry. And Terry had good ways about him as well. So overall, I picked up quite a lot from all of them, to be honest. I guess the only negative, if anybody remembers him, is a fellow by the name of Colin Appleton.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long, was he?
He wasn't here that long, and that probably sums up the qualities that he brought to the club, probably.
Why was he so bad?
Why was he so bad? Good question.
You can keep cameras off at this point.
I think he came here. He came here from Hull City, where he had a reasonable bit of success. He had somebody like Billy Whitehurst playing up front with him, and he played Route 1 football. We had Steve Martinborough and Dean Saunders up front, who were 5'8", and he still tried to play that way of football and wondered why it wasn't working. So that probably got him the sack after 2-3 months, to be honest. So that didn't work. I think it was just inflexibility and change in what he had in front of him.
Wyndham tells a story that when he signed for the Swans, he took a pay cut from his day job. He had lied to his wife what he was earning. And it is very different now. I think that the only kind of bonus you had is you had a turkey at Christmas. And
yeah, we did actually. Yeah, we had a turkey every Christmas. I can't remember who the supplier was, but yeah, that was one of the bonuses, taking on the turkey to mum and dad. And yeah, that was probably what it is.
You've heard the sums of money in the game today. Is there too much money in the game? Are players being paid too much?
What would you say to that? You know, at the end of the day, if you're playing, you'd think not, wouldn't you? But at the end of the day, players will go wherever they need to go. Somebody asked me a question at a forum going back 3-4 years ago, and I think it was about Doris de Vries, and saying that, why did he leave? He'd gone for the money, Judas, etc. And I think I explained at the time, I said, look, to them, it's just a job. That's all it is a job. And if any one of us in this room was offered a job which paid more than what we were earning now in decent conditions, we'd all do it. I said, I've been a Swansea City fan since I was a kid. He wasn't. And there's a difference. You know, so his heart isn't in the same place as where mine would be. But if somebody had come to me at that time, I know 2 weeks before I had to retire, Crystal Palace offered 250,000 at that time for me. But I didn't find that out until a week after I had to quit playing football. So at that time, would I have thought, would I have gone to London? Would I have been paid more? Would my head have been turned? I don't know. You know, that's a hypothetical question. But I can see why people do it, and they become quite comfortable on it then. And we see that as fans as, well, they don't put the effort in. Well, they don't need to put the effort in because they've probably made enough money that even if they went somewhere else, they could survive on that. And that's modern day football.
There's a new book out where a number of Swansea City players have told the story of their best game, the game that they enjoyed playing the most, the game that they most remember. What would be your game if you've been asked to contribute to that book?
I think one of the games that I remember more favourably than others, Newcastle away. I think we got beat 2-0, but we were right in the game. And I know, Christ, I was 19 years of age, and I knew going up there that their forward line the following day was Keegan, Beardsley and Waddle. Which gave me a bit of a sleepless night, but we played really, really well. Kept them out for about 18 minutes until a little bit of Keegan magic. I think it was a free kick on the edge of the box. He's got behind it before anybody else knew about it, flicked it over the wall. Kenny Walton smashed it in the top corner. 30,000 seemed on the Gallowgate end behind me and poured onto the pitch. And then Peter Beasley with a little dance, he went one way, I went the other way, and that was Peter Beasley. So that sticks in my mind, as one of the games that I enjoyed from that perspective. But it's always nice to go to Cardiff City and have a great game and save penalties as well. Especially when we go back to, what was it, 85, when the club went into administration and we didn't think we were going to be there. We were all out of a job. We were told to go and find another job because the administrator had come in. John Bond had been told he'd been relieved of his duties. I can't even remember where we were training, down the beach, Singleton Park, anywhere where we could find to train, to be honest. And then we suddenly had to come back and go to Ninian Park on Boxing Day after Doug Sharp and his crew had done his magic. So to go to Ninian Park, to lose in the 93rd minute after competing, I saved the penalty from Jimmy Mullen there, and then losing the 93rd minute to a Nigel Vaughan goal, that sticks out in my mind, albeit for some of the wrong reasons, but it was great to be back on the field again after all the upheaval and uncertainty, to be honest.
The way you described those 2 goals you conceded against Newcastle, kind of says it's still there. You know, you were fairly detailed in your description.
Do you know what, Kev? Sorry, I was going to say, my missus said to me last night, she said, you're going to go and talk about things 30 odd years ago. She said, you don't remember what I fucking told you last night. And she said, you expect to remember what you said. I said, but that's what's being a man. That's what's being a man. We remember the things that are important to us. Good job, she's away.
She'll see the video.
Should she ever see this video? And they say, I totally disassociate myself from those comments. And you've just dug yourself such a big hole. My friend, you go next.